Live button. We're going live, baby.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like we're live now. What's up, everybody? KingGold with the next tycoon of New Jersey, maybe the next. If I just had to pick a shark, I'd pick you as Kevin O'Leary. You know how Kevin has like the what's the right word? He's like a kind of a mean person, but has a heart of gold type thing. You know what I'm talking about? How he's like very, cut and dry, but he's still a softie.
Bluntly honest. I prefer bluntly honest.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Do you know where he's from? Where's he from?
Canada.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's from Canada. Yeah.
No way.
He is. Yeah, look it up. I'm telling you, he's from Canada.
But Canadians are normally like super nice and pleasant.
Depends on where they're from.
I guess
so they have farm areas in that, up in Canada. They have all.
I guess if they're closer to New York, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Jon is actually, funny story, and we're not going to get into the craziness of our family, but Jon is actually a long lost cousin of mine. And we met maybe 7 years. Well, it was before I think it was before I got married. So 9 years ago, I guess, 10 years ago?
Yeah, give or take.
So I've only known, I had a cousin up in New Jersey for, just a few years. And what's cool is that Jon, I think at least if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure you were actually doing like a technical college or something like that. Like right when I first met you, and then you're like, hey, me and my mom's going to start, or no, you're like, I'm going to start this business. And then, 2 months later, you're like, yeah, me and my mom started this business, and my cousin and my brother is working up in, Canada doing something. And, and it just seems like every year Jon has a new business venture going.
I'm like Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddie. Trying to get that
basically. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So anyway, so that's Jon. That's Jon in a nutshell. So Jon, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, I guess the way you see it, not the way I see it, and kind of how you got started, and just take it away.
Yeah, so basically, if you couldn't tell by our amazing good looks and our love of bad comedy, I'm Scott's cousin. So,
and the bushy eyebrows, remember? The bushy eyebrows. Oh, yeah.
Well, every once in a while, I shave the unibrow off, so.
You just got to rock that thing, man. You just got to do it.
Hey, man, I got to do what you got to do. But anyway, so originally I started going to school for cybersecurity. I went all the way through the program, the whole 9 yards. And one day I'm just sitting in the room and I'm working with this kid, and I got frustrated. And I said, why am I the only person that feels like I'm actually I'm the fastest in the class? I'm completing all the work. I just want to keep going. Like I've got too much energy. Right. I don't know where it comes from. Right. And so eventually I'm looking at the servers, and we're working on with all this equipment. And I said to myself, what in the bad word am I doing in this room?
Jon, it's a family program, Jon.
I said bad word. Say bad word.
Bad word.
That's right. So basically I said, what in the bad word am I doing here? And I left. I said, hey, professor, my, I don't know, grandma's in the hospital. I'm gone. So I just made that up and left.
Okay. Well,
so that's basically the first thing that happened. And then basically I decided, you know what? I want to start a business. I sat down, contemplated it for a while, figured out how I was going to tell my mom I'm dropping out of school for the last couple of classes. And then I just was like, all right, never mind this, right? So I go, and eventually I end up starting like an eBay style business where, you're buying stuff and selling stuff on eBay. And that ended up growing. So that kept growing and growing. I was growing about 76% every single month.
Wow.
Yeah.
So before you get too far along, I just wanted to clarify. So when you said you were in school and you felt like you were doing all the work, you talking about like group projects, or you just realized like you weren't getting as ahead with the effort you were doing type thing? Or like, what do you mean by that? Like what was your epiphany moment there?
I felt like I was being held back by the other people in the class. So during group projects, during, class talks, stuff like that, I just felt like it was just too slow. And I don't know where I get my energy from. I don't drink caffeine. I don't do nothing.
Really?
Yeah. So I literally just get all this energy. And I was just like, I just want to keep moving, and this ain't going fast enough for me.
Okay.
Yeah. That's basically in a nutshell what happened with that.
Interesting. All right, so continue. So you got your eBay store going. You were growing 76% per month.
Yes, we kept growing and growing and growing, and we just kept selling more and more stuff. And believe it or not, when I first started it, it was primarily just going to garage sales and buying things for $1, and I would put them up on eBay. And I was buying things for $1 and selling them for 20, 30 bucks a piece.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And the weirdest
Did you
thing,
have to like refurbish them at all, or clean them up, or just?
believe it or not, most of the stuff I found at garage sales were brand new, still sealed. Yeah, a lot of people would buy all this stuff, or at least
Really?
it might be different in your area, but my area, people buying
I
all.
was going to say, I don't know if that's interesting, because I don't know if that's maybe a Louisiana thing or what, or maybe y'all just do things. Maybe y'all are a little bit more high class in New Jersey. But yeah, I don't think I've seen like brand new stuff I mean, I've been out of the garage sale, game for a while, so maybe it's just me, but yeah, that's kind of interesting. So you were able to find like new stuff at garage sales.
Yeah, like a lot of like glassware, especially too. A lot of people would buy tons of glassware.
Glassware.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, why are you buying plates? Like, I don't know if it's just me, but like you buy all this extra glassware. Like, what do you need?
So wait a minute. So you were selling like glassware on eBay?
Yeah, a lot of glassware. The weirdest thing I ever sold, and I only did this one time. I swear, it was a half a pool stick for 30 bucks. I'm not kidding. Somebody actually bought half a pool stick from me for $30.
So okay, so you're talking about the screw on kind, or
Yeah, that guy.
well, did you even ask? Like, I'm assuming he had the other half, right?
I don't want to ask that guy why he wanted to buy half a pool stick.
It's a good whooping stick,
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing with it. I just, you want
like
it, you can have
prairie
it.
dogs with it or something.
The
Okay.
whole reason I had that half a pool stick was I bought this lot of like mason jars, and I was selling a lot of mason jars too, used and new. It's funny, people don't believe it or not, there are mason jars.
Wait. You were selling mason jars on your eBay store?
Yes. Yeah, vintage mason jars.
Oh, vintage mason jars.
But people have them lying in the garage and like, I don't know, these are my grandma's. And they're like you would take 10 cents and be like, yeah, just to buy them all for like 5 cents. And I buy the whole thing and sell them online for 50 to 80 bucks a pop. And people were just loving them. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Were they normally how am I trying to ask this? Was it mainly like customers in your area, or did you ship like all over the country?
All over the country. All over. I don't know. I never knew about the whole mason jar thing. And I ran into it, believe it or not, on a YouTube video. Yeah, it was a thing. I'm still shocked.
You got like a jacket full of mason jars. Like, hey, bro, you want some mason jars?
I still got too many left over because that market stopped, but I still got a lot left over. I can't get rid of them now. But when I was doing it, they were popular.
Okay. All right. So you had your eBay thing going. How long did you do that? Are you still doing it, or are you?
No, I don't do it as much now because it was great and I was making money doing it, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of your time is spent packaging things, making sure that everything's right, that it doesn't break during transit. It's a lot of upkeep. It's a great starter business. Like if you really want to learn like how to be responsible with a business, eBay is the best place in the world for that.
Okay.
Yeah, because it really teaches you to watch all your numbers. It teaches you to watch your advertising costs. It teaches you to watch what you're buying and how to spend. It teaches you how to negotiate with people. Because sometimes you go to a garage sale, especially how I did it, people would know what they had. Sometimes, not always, but they would know what they had, and you would have to learn to really negotiate things.
So, John, I want to key on what you just said, because that's something that, I kind of thought about the eBay thing, but I guess I'm just struggling. Maybe I just don't go to enough garage sales, but you have something. Let's just say, I'll just use numbers for discussion. Let's say you paid $10 for it. All right. In order to make it like worth your time to sell it, you have to account for, the shipping costs, which let's just for the sake of argument, say another $10. And then eBay and or PayPal or however they do it now, they're going to charge a percent. So you have a $10 item that you would essentially have to charge like 25, $30 for to break even. Were you just finding things like that low priced to sell higher? Or was there something else that I'm missing? Because I get like when I was looking into it, there's nothing that I know of other than, like you're saying, hitting up a bunch of garage sales that could sell, that I could buy for that low to be able to sell higher. So how did you, how did you manage all that?
So basically what you do is you have to look at it in online sales business completely different for how you would look at any other type of business. So traditionally, when you open up like a mom and pop shop, which I would not advise today, by the way, I really don't want anybody doing that. I'm sorry to anybody who already has one, but don't do that. But you have to look at it different. It's more like a snowball going down a hill. You ever see when you're a kid and you build that first snowman, that first snowball just gets ahead of you. It's gone.
Are you really asking me that, John?
Oh, I am.
Oh, you know where I live, right?
That's right. You're Louisiana.
You know where I live.
Yeah.
Flat never gets below like 50, you know? Okay.
All right, for anybody that's not on the below in the southern hemisphere of the planet, we up here in the north, we get snow, too much snow. That's why we want to move out of the north. And
right.
we can make snowmen, and when the snowball.
Do y'all really do that? Like, or is that just stuff that you see in movies, and is that just an expression? Like, do y'all really do that for fun? You just get some snow and just throw it down a hill and watch it grow? Like,
well, you ain't playing baseball, I can tell you that.
That's fair. Yeah,
you get carrots and sticks.
The mental image I have of that is just a little weird, because I think like, oh, there's like always all these kids at the top of a snowy hill and they're just rolling snowballs down. Like, so y'all actually do that, or is that?
Oh yeah, we'll actually make a snowman. It's a lot of times it's a lot of kids, but you in up here in New Jersey, you get a lot of people that say, I don't care about looking like a kid. You'll see adults out there making stuff. So it's just happens.
Although in New Jersey, y'all do it with rocks too, right? I mean,
yeah, you make a bigger snowball at the bottom, and then you get a smaller one and a smaller one, and you get like a carrot as a nose. You make like a mouth out of little rocks. You just press them into the snow.
Gotcha.
Yeah, see, that's my description of a snowman. So,
gotcha. All right, so not a frosty type, right?
No, but basically anyway, the whole thing with the snowman reference is that as a snowball rolls down a hill, it gathers more snow on its own. You don't need to actually put more snow on it. It just keeps getting packed and it keeps rolling. It gets bigger. So basically the difference between like an online business and a mom and pop shop is a mom and pop shop puts a sign on the street or a big billboard or does like TV advertising and just hopes that somebody shows up one day. But with an online business, most of your advertising with eBay is kind of already done for you. If you have a good price, if you have good customer service, if you have good ratings, you have good shipping times, eBay likes you and they will send you more people. That's basically how it works in a nutshell.
So how does that work? Like I guess they put your store higher on the search list. Is that kind of how it works, or?
Yeah. So there were plenty of times where I would buy things, and this kind of goes back to one of your other questions. This kind of will explain a little better. But there were times I would buy things, and just to have an extra thing sold on the market. Now I would come out even, or I'd come out with a little bit of money. It would be like 10 cents, $1, but I wanted just to keep my account continuously rolling. Always keep stuff on there.
So you had like small enough losses, if you will, just to kind of keep your name at the top.
Well, not losses. I would always make sure I made a little bit of money or came out at least even on it. Okay. Just because you don't want to purposely lose money. You always want to keep growing, but at the same time, you want to keep your account rolling. You want to keep it going. You want to keep all that stuff. So that way, when the big stuff came in or stuff that have a much higher margin, you already had the store to back it up. You had the traction. People liked you. People trusted you. That kind of stuff.
I got you. Okay. So what made you stop doing the eBay store? Like, do you only do high dollar things now, or is it like it's just there if you want to sell something random, or have you like completely removed yourself from it?
Basically what had happened was when I first started doing it, my idea behind it was I'll do the garage sales, and I was making good money doing the garage sales. I did not want to knock that down. It was good money. But basically what ended up happening was I wanted to transition it to making like a bigger operation. In order to do that, you'd have to order pallets of things and have a warehouse and stuff like that. People have this vision. I'm sure you've been around your friends. They all go China, 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 China. Well, China isn't exactly where you buy things from anymore. It's gotten pretty global. So you have, India now, you got Mexico, stuff like that. And all that extra competition and the higher labor of China, the higher labor costs have risen the price of shipping those products from there. And American distributors and manufacturers are really hard to find, or they're already overblown and they charge way too much for the products for you to sell on eBay.
Interesting.
So I would have to continue doing garage sales, which takes a lot of your time up, and I wanted to do something else.
Plus, I mean, if you're trying to scale something like that, you know, you without having that much inventory, you would have to, you know, get a warehouse and get the pallets and stuff, you know, and probably most people don't have. I mean, you were doing it from your house, right? So probably not too many people have just a big old, you know, empty room where they can put pallets of stuff to
That's
sell.
the other thing too. You know, you believe it or not, you can have a pallet delivered. You could have any number of pallets delivered to your house. The only difference is you have to pay an extra fee typically, at least in New Jersey. I don't know if it's like that in any other states, because every state's different. When you start doing business, every state's got their own rules and fees. I think Colorado just had one for DoorDash. If you want to order, did you ever hear DoorDash, where you order food from DoorDash, and it's basically what it. I don't know if they have it in every state, but up here in Jersey, it's basically this food delivery service where you go on, you download.
Yeah, we got it. I'm just thinking, like, what would you have as a different rule of DoorDash of all things?
Colorado enacted a law that basically said they couldn't charge fees for their delivery service, but that's part of their business model, was how they made money. They would charge like a $2 fee. So Colorado said, oh, well, we don't like when, you know, we don't want you charging those fees to people. We think it's unfair. So DoorDash is like, okay, well, if you want to use our service, we're going to charge an extra fee for Colorado.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why would government just, oh, I just,
You know, I saw one of your other podcasts the other day, and you were talking about the government thing, how you couldn't believe that when you go on the IRS and sign for EIN, you try to do things right, you try to do things the right way, and you can't do it after like 5 p.m. Sign up for an EIN number for 5 p.m.
It was
bizarre.
unbelievable, man. I just, But anyway, okay. So you did the eBay thing. When you started it, did you intend it to be like a stepping stone to something bigger, or were you like, see what I've kind of experienced, just again, in my very brief time in the self business world, I've seen like, hey, once I learn how to do that, I can use that skill to do this thing. And then once that gets going, I can use those both to do this other thing. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. Like, I'm going to do a video on this tomorrow, actually, kind of like a New Year's inspiration thing, but I could very possibly, and I'm planning on having like 3 extra income streams by end of next year. So I went from having like my 2 right now, and then hopefully next year I plan on having 5. And
Yeah, that's really good.
I started, you know, seeing how these different things can stack on top of each other. So was it kind of like an organic transition for you to, you know, go from this thing that you're doing and you're already making money with, or were you always planning on doing some kind of bigger operation?
So I look at every venture that I've ever taken as a possible for growth. I've never taken on anything that I thought that I couldn't scale. If I go to find out, like with eBay business, that I really couldn't realistically scale that business to a point where I would be happy, because a lot of everything that I do, this sounds selfish, but it's not selfish. I do it to try to make myself happy, but then I get to share that happiness with other people around me. And, you know, and that's where I get my happiness back from, is being able to just help other people, you know. And so, you know, when I realized, you know, it's kind of unrealistic to say that I could scale this. Now, other people might have a different experience. They might have an uncle that manufactures robots. I don't know, right? But you have to, you know, based on my personal surroundings, it wasn't realistic for me. So I had to go. I went into something else.
Okay, so I guess you were into it for a little while, and you realized like the way that you would do it to make you happy, there's a cap, right? There was a cap of what you could do, so you moved on. Is kind of what you're saying, I guess.
Yeah. So when I realized I couldn't get what I personally wanted out of it that would fulfill something in me,
right,
I moved on and went on to something I felt.
So what would you say is the biggest thing, maybe both in a good way and a bad way, maybe what is the biggest thing that you took away from running your eBay business, or maybe the biggest lesson, or, you know, the biggest advantage, disadvantage, you know, that type of thing? Like what's like whenever you remember your eBay experience, what would you say is like the crowning achievement that has carried you through the next 10 years, and like the lowest of the low, worst thing that happened that you're like, I never want to do that again?
So I think a lot of things can get taught by starting an eBay business as your first business. I think there's a lot that it can teach you. It definitely taught me. You know, I think when you go to become an entrepreneur for the first time, there's a lot of these gurus out there that tell you all these things.
I have a whole video on that.
You know,
it's coming. I have a whole video on that coming. Continue.
They sell you a whole billion goods. They never really tell you about the hard stuff. It is mostly mental. And I know that sounds ridiculous. Oh, another mindset thing. Oh yeah. Everybody's talking about their mindset, but it is so true. And until you try it, you don't really understand how important thinking and staying focused on what will make you happy is so much more important than anything else in your life. Because it's not when you're happy, you spread that happiness around others. If you go around somebody that's really negative and like, oh, this has happened to me, blah, you feel worse. You feel worse because you start feeling bad for this person, but you also feel bad yourself, and it takes away from your life and your ability to thrive. So that's the first thing. I think the other things I took from it were it teaches you responsibility in business. I think a lot of people don't understand what I mean by that. They go, oh, my parents taught me I should get a job for a living and then work and work and work. It's real easy to get up in the morning and the boss tells you you did something wrong. You're like, okay, Dad, I'll go take care of that. That's simple. We all know that already, right? That's normal. Everybody knows that. But to go and have to be responsible for yourself where you don't have that is a totally different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's tough. So I heard this years ago, whenever you get started with something, you're really excited and everything, and you're going off of like sheer excitement and adrenaline, right? But then there comes a point where that excitement fades away, and that's where discipline has to take over. And discipline has to take over to get you back to that place of excitement. And maybe something happens, maybe you figure something out, maybe you just, you get to take a vacation and you like rediscover why you're doing it, So then you get excited again, and then discipline kind of takes a back seat, and then you're like excited. But then that excitement wears off. So like discipline and excitement, they go hand in hand, and they're like two legs of the same person. And, you need two legs to walk, right? So that was kind of the analogy that they used. So after eBay, which out of curiosity, do you have anything on your store right now? Like if I just went to your store
honestly, I might have a couple of things that I just left on there that I totally forgot's on there. It's funny. I had that happen once that I think I have like 2 or 3 things that somebody bought something. I had to send them. I'm sorry. I don't really want to send this out anymore. I apologize to the guy, and I gave him his refund, and I moved on.
Right. Okay. So what did you do after eBay?
So basically after eBay, I said, I'm going to start something totally different. I want to do something, it'd be really cool. Let's build something. All right, let's build something. Let's build like a construction business, right? I called up my mom because my mom has been she's been on like modular casework and construction in a lot of the hospitals in New Jersey. She's worked in that field for a long time. So I said, hey mom, I want to do this. She's like, you better check the licensing and everything else. And, because with an eBay business, it's kind of easy to get licensing for that. There's not much involved. You got to get a resale certificate for your state and all that. But when you want to start a construction business where you're messing with people's walls and their foundations, I go, that's a little bit of a different ballgame. So in New Jersey, they have 2 different types of licenses. They have your standard license, which you have to have a certain amount of experience and all that. And then there's the second kind. That's pretty much for like painters, plasterers, stuff like that. And that's basically a home improvement license. That allows you to basically work on external surfaces, internal surfaces. You can't really build anything from the ground up.
Right.
So that's just a little knowledge also for people as far as licensing. You better check your licensing before you start. So
yeah, whatever you do. That's why I like the home-based thing, man. Like there's a lot of home-based businesses and home-based things you can do. New Jersey, there's the government again, right? Because I'm pretty sure you don't need a resale license or anything like that in the South, But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do at your house with what you have. That you don't necessarily need a license for. Some things you probably do. But anyway, go ahead. That was just
Oh no, that's actually a really good point. So don't even worry about it. But no, it's funny. You got to really check that stuff, and then you got insurance, especially with the construction business. So this was a huge stepping stone. I went from a very simple, plain eBay business to going to something that was a lot more complicated that I thought was gonna be a little more simple. So we ended up.
Did you really think it would be more simple?
I honestly, because I grew up, I had a weird upbringing. So the way I grew up on a farm in New Jersey, which people don't realize exists, but there's areas out here that are just barren. And so I'm around, hey, how you doing? And howdy at the same time. So,
What's up, y'all? How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing? It's like my next door neighbor's Joey. The other ones, I had 3 buddy neighbors, 3 guys named Buddy as neighbors growing up in New Jersey.
Okay.
I mean, that's a very, I don't know, maybe that's a stereotypical thing in the North. We say everybody down south say Buddy and Butch. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, no, not so much. Not so much.
My bad, everybody.
Yeah.
Like crawfish, I swear.
Well, you've never been to Louisiana to have it, so you can't really say you've had it because technically you've never had it. Oh, by the way, everyone, John is the biggest pizza snob that I know. Like, I'll just say, like, hey, I had, just in passing, oh, we had pizza last night. Like, oh, no, you didn't have pizza until you had, like, this New York, New Jersey, whatever, pie. Like, what are you talking about, pie? And then, apparently that's what they call them up there and stuff. That's John.
I guess this is why he calls me Kevin O'Leary, because I really... I'm a good person deep down, but I like my pie, okay? You got to...
So it's just kind of weird. Like, you went from... What made you think construction company? Is that... well, you said your mom... I didn't know that. Your mom, like, had a background with some of that stuff. Is that kind of what inspired you?
Yeah, so she was primarily a single mom. So she was been in the corporate world her whole life. But at the same time, she always, for some reason, really wanted horses. So it was always weird because none of her bosses, if they ever, like, visited for, like, a wedding or something like that, they'd see, like, a chicken running across the grounds. We had her wedding in the backyard. So she invited, some of her business, friends and all that. There was just a chicken running across the way. So then nobody knew what it was except for us, which is really funny. We were people that don't know what a chicken looks like up here.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, you see your face, but I'm not kidding. There's people who don't know they couldn't tell the difference between a goat and a chicken. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm dead serious. It sounds crazy to you, but it's the truth, man. I'm telling you.
Okay. Man, you New Jersey people, man, you need to get out more. All right. So what all happened when you started your construction company?
So basically what ended up happening was we had to dive into finding insurance rates. We had to dive into getting licensing. And, that was a whole project because then you basically started taking a new company and telling an insurance company, hey, trust me, right? Trust me, I won't get sued. I swear. And it's basically what happened.
Did you have somebody like help you find those people or insurance companies, or was it just like John calling every insurance agent in the phone book?
Oh, it was definitely trying to find insurance at first. We didn't know where the hell we were going to get it at. So we basically were like, let me call a broker. So we started calling brokers, and some of them didn't work with new companies. We find out somebody you had to have a certain level of experience, so you had to have a certain amount of money in the bank. There's all these ridiculous requirements. Eventually we found somebody that was hungry enough and had the connections to get us insurance, but it ended up being really expensive, but we had to take it. So we found the insurance, we got the licensing, and then we were able to actually start bidding on projects. Because there's actually a law that you actually can't bid on a project in New Jersey until you actually have the licensing and the insurance.
Right. So how long did that take you to get all that done? Now, because that's not easy stuff. I mean, especially when you're going through like government licensing and stuff. That's not easy stuff, man.
No, it took us probably a month to a month and a half just to find the licensing. I mean, we were able to do it quick because that's all I was focused on at the time. That's another one of the benefits of focusing 100% on your business and not having, like, if you can avoid having a job. I mean, obviously somebody have a job, you have to have a job to take care of your kids and your family, like you, and you don't have that luxury. But I had the luxury of being able to call everybody 24/7. Hey, can I get me insurance? Hey, what's up? Can you do this for me? So that's how it worked with that.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all were able to get, so what's that like in New Jersey? Because I'm sure it'd be kind of, somewhat similar. I mean, I'm assuming you had to have someone with a license already to sponsor you or something like that, or like how does that work?
So in New Jersey, there's actually we ended up finding out there was 2 different licenses. So we have we ended up finding out that there was a regular general construction, you can build everything, but that one you had to have years of experience doing. We only wanted to be like a GC, so we didn't actually want to do the work ourselves. We wanted to hire, find other people to do the work and try to find the right people that have the right experience that can handle the job.
Okay, gotcha.
Level of class and respect. But what ended up happening was, yeah, he's laughing.
It's like, we would prefer this level of class and respect, but Okay, continue. Sorry, that was just funny.
Yeah, we're going to be, me and Scott are going to be at the comedy club on Monday. So just
Oh yeah, comedy. That's what my life's all about, John. Is comedy.
That's my life. Gonna tell my life story, and everybody start laughing.
Yeah, no
No,
doubt.
but anyway, so no, but yeah, so basically in a nutshell, we ended up getting this other license that basically you didn't need any experience for, but it was just for, you know, external stuff, internal walls. You couldn't actually build anything from the ground. It was just improvement. So that's how that happened. So you can be a painter, plaster, you know, put up, you can put up, I think you could put up, I forget what it was, but there was other things you can do that as long as you weren't basically working with foundations, you were fine.
Okay. So are you still doing that, or how did that go?
So that actually went really well, but then I ended up finding out about the real estate business. So this goes into kind of what you were just saying before, is that once you start something, you move on to something else, you meet a whole new set of people of different levels. You're like, wait a minute, I thought that guy had everything. No, wait a minute, that guy's got way more than that guy. I want what that guy's got.
Right.
You know, and then that guy's got a whole new set of information, a whole new set of rules and strategies for making money. And you learn from that guy, and you just keep going from thing to thing. It just keeps going.
Well, that's to me how millionaires become millionaires, right? I mean, they don't just rely on one stream of income. You know, you get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 businesses going, that ends up being a lot of money, right? And then you can use that money to get into bigger money, and the bigger money pays more. So it takes money to make money, but you got to get your little ducks in a row, right?
That's why I started with an eBay business.
Right. So you're still, so do you still have the construction company, or did y'all sell it and get out of it, or what?
No, we ended up just transforming that company into something else. So now we're doing real estate. So that's a totally different.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we totally different. Real estate's a totally different ball game, and that is probably the most rewarding business. And I think this is going to be the one that I'm going to stick with for the rest of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It is real estate. Truthfully, is the way real money is made in the United States. There's no doubt in my mind. And there's plenty of it out there for everybody.
Okay, so elaborate on that. Like, what do you mean?
So,
what do you mean by that?
So typically with a business, you got to pay your taxes, you got to pay your employees. In New Jersey, you also got to have, and people don't ever talk about this, but in some states, especially in New Jersey, you got to have employees compensation. So if they get injured, and that can cost $32,000 to $60,000 per employee a year. So that can get very expensive very quick. But with real estate, you don't have a lot of those expenses, and you don't really have the taxes. And again, just to clarify before I start talking about taxes, I am not an accountant, okay? I just understand some things. So just keep that's the legal gotcha. Thing out of the way.
When I get like an actual studio and better, equipment and stuff, I'll have a pop-up that says, legal disclaimer,
Not an attorney, not an accountant.
Right. So, okay. So you said you don't really have the taxes. Right. So you're saying, like, because I would assume property taxes in New Jersey are probably pretty high. So you're saying, like, even with that beats the like workers' comp taxes that you would pay. Yeah. That's kind of what you're saying.
So I can elaborate on it more if you want, but basically in a nutshell.
Well, that's why you're here. I mean,
that's why I'm here.
We can stop now if you want, I guess.
No, I'm good. No, but basically the way it works is that you get a property. So for easy numbers, let's say you buy a property for $50K. Okay, you get 50 grand, you buy a property. I like to buy them in cash because it's just easier that way. That's my personal way of doing it. There's other ways that other people do it. But basically,
well, that's the best way ultimately, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time, because there's such little risk.
Well, I was gonna say, let me clarify that a little bit. Like, I'm a huge proponent. Dave Ramsey is probably like feeling a chill down his spine right now, but I'm a huge proponent of smart debt. Like, let's again, just throwing out numbers, right? Let's say you could purchase a property at some interest rate where the interest rate was like $5 a month. Okay. Yeah. Why would you not do that? Okay. But the Dave Ramsey purists will say, oh, that's debt. That is debt. No, not doing it. But, at the same time, you're also right. So anyway, so you know, there's obviously a balance, and you have to be smart about that, right? Because like if you, I mean, I guess I don't know how much money you have in your bank account, but I'm assuming if you wanted to buy like $1 million property, you wouldn't just go drop $1 million on that, right?
No,
Or
yeah,
would you? I mean, hey, yeah.
you know, because they could sell a property to you and it's got 4 walls. It's just a giant pit in the ground on the inside. So you don't want to just go dropping $1 million on anything. You got to really go in and
Right.
inspect it. You know, if they don't let you inside, just run away.
Do you ever get any properties like that where that like you'll go look at them and they won't let you inside?
Oh, all the time. That is
Really?
common practice. They
Wow,
don't.
that's kind.
They want it all because the way they see it is, it's their property. They have control of it, and if you want to bid on it, they want more money. So their whole business model is surrounded by, I wonder what's inside box number 1, what's in box number 2. Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of wild. I mean, I'm not a huge, you know, real estate knowledgeable guy, but that just seems kind of. I have not heard that before.
Oh, it's sketchy, big time. But that's what they do. It's just practice. It doesn't happen on every one. Like a lot of times you have bank-owned properties that are called like REOs and stuff like that. And they typically will let you inside. Most foreclosures will let you inside. Foreclosures are a great source. The foreclosure market got very expensive over the last couple of years, but it's starting to calm down a little bit now. So now it's a great time to buy, especially because right now those interest rates are so low. It's basically free money.
Well, actually, the last guy I interviewed, Alvin Davis, was talking about that. He's a realtor, and he was saying, you know, for the people that had, you know, some sort of preparation, some sort of money set aside or whatever, they were able to take advantage of all the stuff that's happened, you know, in the last year or so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because that's what happens too, is that when you understand real estate in the worst of times, you're in the best shape of your life.
Right.
You know, and
So, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So basically when you go and buy, you know, a property for the 50 grand, somebody had to lose out for that to happen. Let's keep it real. Somebody lost a job, somebody had something happen to them, and it's unfortunate. But I always tell people, if it wasn't for real estate investors, that property would look like a condemned building. There would be no way anybody would come in and just do that. So property investors actually build up neighborhoods and they keep things in good shape. They're a necessity. So even though it's somebody might be having a hard time or might have had something happen to them that caused that property to be in the state that it's in, if it wasn't for real estate investors, there'd be no building. It would look nasty. It would lower your property value.
So are you doing more like homes? Is that what you're doing more of? Or are you doing commercial apartments? You know, what all are you getting involved
I want to get into more apartments. So that's going to be my next step. Right now, I'm in primarily just single family homes. You know, when you buy single family homes, everybody needs a place to live. And that's probably the best investment right now that you can make other than multifamily apartments.
Are you renting? Are you flipping? Are you both?
I never flip. I don't like flips. That's
really?
That's a guru thing. Everybody talks about flipping. You know, that's watching H&E with your wife and you're sitting there. She's going, "Oh, that looks lovely. Look what that couple's doing." You know, that's not me.
Bro, okay. All right. So you're from the north. All right. You always see on HGTV, okay? And there's memes about this, so I'm going to use a meme, okay? Like, oh, I am a stay-at-home, you know, caterpillar petter, and my husband catches butterflies and bunnies on the weekends. Our budget is $1.1 million. You know, is that how real are those figures up there?
Well, it depends on what kind of money. So there's different levels of money. You know, if you're talking. So there are people out there, and this is something you don't hear online. Dave Ramsey doesn't really talk about. Dave Ramsey's a funny character. We get him some other time, but you know, the whole.
I'd love to have him on. I mean, I'm sure that will never happen, but I'd love to just email him and just say, "Hey, look, why don't you come on and talk about it?" Anyway,
because you think it'll never happen, or it'll probably happen.
Hey, maybe so.
You never know, but basically, you know, there is that kind of money out there where you don't have to do anything. Real estate is one of those places where you do get that. Now, keep in mind, I do have to spend a lot of my time making sure everything's okay. You know, they're managing the properties, managing people that might go out there for me, making sure that the contractors are on time, making sure the work's getting done. I don't want to show up and there's a radio playing and they're just eating pizza and they're not doing it. So, so that's the thing. Like, there is management involved, but it's not really work. You know, when people say hard work, what do you mean by hard work? Do you mean you're out in roofing as a redhead during the summer, or do you mean like, you know what I mean? Like you're just walking down the street. I don't work hard. I just work a lot.
Yeah. But I guess my question behind that was more like, are those realistic figures for the real estate market up there? And, how many, 20-year-old fresh out of school people have like $1.1 million to start their new lives in their dream home,
Well, what people don't understand about the North is, there's a lot of money getting thrown around up here, but there's also a lot of expenses up here. Everything's more expensive. So you might get a home up here that costs you $1 million. Like a home in my area where I live, you can't get anything for under 300 grand. That's you live in a shack. I mean, honestly, you'd almost have nothing. You basically have land. Land up here is 40,000 alone, just for 1 acre. You can buy land in other states for $5 grand. You can get a lot more land than that. So it really, everything's more expensive up here. Taxes, fees, just transportation, tolls, everything. So it is up here, and the real estate business can provide that for you, but getting to that point is difficult for some people even up here.
Yeah. So, and y'all have correct me if I'm wrong, y'all have a lot of old money up there too, right?
Oh yeah, there's old money all over the place. There's old money everywhere. There's old. You see them walking around in like a t-shirt or a potato sack outfit that they bought from Lululemon.
Right. That's fun. It's like, there's old money everywhere. They're like roaches.
If I do declare, I'm taking my yacht down. I was very hot in the summer, and I can't.
Right. It's like, Scott goes up there like just to visit, and people are like, oh, look, a peasant. Haven't seen one of them in a while.
And there's people that think I'm a peasant. So it's all kinds. There's all kinds. The higher you go, the way I say it is, the higher you go, different kinds of money. Donald Trump money is the very pinnacle of money. Like, you can't get much more than that. He just doesn't care. Like that guy. I'm not saying I'm not talking about politics. I'm just saying he's back. There are people like him out there, and it's primarily in real estate that you'll see that. Guys like me.
Well, that's how he made most of his money, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
And I guess the casinos or whatever, but.
Well, people make fun of him. They'll make fun of him because they'll say, oh, well, he doesn't pay taxes. The reason you don't pay taxes in real estate is because you get loans against your properties. So if you owe money to the bank, how are you gonna get taxed on money that you owe? See, that's where people get confused.
Interesting.
Yeah, you owe that money. I don't have that, but that's not money that I'm making. That's not money that I made from doing something. I got a loan that was given to me as a loan, and you don't pay tax on that loan.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of interesting, because it kind of makes me think like, I guess it kind of makes me think of real estate in a little bit different light now. Like it's also a good business to get in to avoid taxation. And that's kind of,
you're not avoiding taxation, Scott. You don't do that.
Lessen your tax burden. How's that?
Lessen your tax burden. That's a good way to put it.
Okay. Don't you come on. We'll come to New Jersey. I do want to go to New Jersey and just see what's up, see if people really is like angry and upset, but also rich, as you say.
I'll get you that real pizza I told you about. I promise.
Yeah, there you go. I'd love that for sure, dude. This is funny. But we were getting DiGiorno for a while, and we'd have it for the girls and stuff, and like DiGiorno was out at us common people. We shop at Walmart, and I don't know if you'll have Albertsons or something like that, but normal grocery stores. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was out, and we ended up getting Red Baron brick oven, and bruh, you talk about a good pizza. Okay. I would almost rather that pizza than any other, with the exception of our local pizza shop that we got, that is probably still like a mortal sin to you. But if you ever come down, I'll buy you some and let you try it, because they're pretty good. I have no idea how I got onto that topic. I guess it was just kind of funny that Red Baron.
You know what? Right before this
the people at Red Baron, if you want to throw me a sponsorship or something, I will be more than happy. Red Baron brick oven pizza. It's like $3.99 for all the amazingness in your mouth. Anyway, see, I got taglines, man. I'm telling you, streams of income. I got ideas now. They're coming.
They're coming.
I'm gonna start writing jingles like red berry.
You'll go, believe it or not, a quick note. No, right before this podcast started, and totally unrelated to the podcast, he had no idea. Matt called me, and we started talking. Yeah,
really?
Out of nowhere, he just called me. He's probably watching right now, and he said, "Hey, how you doing? I'm checking on you." And we actually got on this topic of Padgett's. We really like food.
Well, who doesn't, right? I mean,
who doesn't like food? Who doesn't like food? Vegans don't like food. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I swear.
I saw a meme the other day, or I don't know, it was somebody's post, something like that. Like, you know, always be aware of vegans that tell you it tastes like meat. It's like, when was the last time you had meat to be able to tell me that this tastes like meat? It's like, bro, get out of my face. This does not taste like buffalo chicken. This tastes like, you know, bean paste. Yeah. Anywai, so
milk don't taste like milk, bro.
That's right.
Acidophilus milk. What is that? What's going on in that bottle? Yeah. I think that was once Lewis Black, the comedian. I can't take credit for that joke.
Yeah,
gotcha. That was Lewis Black.
All right, so I guess we'll get back on track, or at least kind of get back on track now. All right, so Jon, you have started up at least 3 businesses, and so let's say that, you know, somebody like me, okay, I didn't have the luxury of you know, your mom is a businesswoman. She's been in the business world. You know, I'm sure there was some business stuff that you picked up from her before you even started anything that you did. What would you say for the average Joe like me who wants to start anything really, be it actually one of my former students texted me the other day, said he wants to start his own electrician company. It's like, okay, sweet. But you know, he's like me though. He's starting from nothing. So what would you say is the best thing that the average Joe can do to get started with some business of some type somewhere?
First of all, watch videos like this. That's number one. I'm serious. You got to try to also be careful where you get your information from. There's a lot of those gurus. They'll just be like, hey, look at my Lamborghini. Look at my books. Look at this. Knowledge. You know what?
Okay, let's talk about that just for a second. I know I said I'm going to talk about it later on another video, and I will, but I just want to put this out there, okay? I am so sick of success story type videos, okay? Mm-hmm. Like, here's how I made, you know, $20,000 a minute in under 10 minutes with this one thing. It's like, no, you developed that over a series of years, and it paid off finally. Okay. Yeah. That's not something the average Joe needs to go do and be a part of. And there, you know, there's some people that are better. There's some people that are worse, but man, that's what KingGold's going to be doing, man. We're going to be helping the average Joes, the non-business people, the people that are literally just starting out, that don't have 10 years of failure or experience or whatever. Okay. And it just, God, that just gripes me so much. It's like, I get it. It's sales, right? It's marketing.
Had the flu one time when I had the eBay business, and I was in my garage, and out in the garage, and there was no heat in the garage. And I was in that garage with the flu, boxing up products to be shipped out. So when you talk about,
you're spreading the flu.
Yeah, no, well, they were going out in a few days. They're going to sit for a while, I'm telling you.
Gotcha. Okay.
But basically, that's just the dedication you have to have. You have to be able to, you want something so bad that no matter the adversity, no matter what people tell you, it is so important for yourself and for the people around you that you just keep going. Because when you go to start a business, you're fighting everybody. You're not just fighting yourself. You are obviously your biggest enemy, but people, let's keep it real. People do things because other people put pressure on you to do. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with marriage, but marriage is a great example of that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying I'm not married, everybody. I'm not looking, or I am. I'm not sure anymore, but I'm just saying. But the whole thing is that's something that people tell you, okay, this is your plan for your life. You're going to go to school, you're going to get a job, you're going to get married, you're going to have kids, and you're going to die, right? That's literally the plan. You know, you're going to give your kids everything.
I would say probably an even better example about that is college. So you got to go to college, got to go to college, got to go to college. It's like, do I? Yeah, anyway, continue. I just, you know, I was
no. You like froze up on my screen for a minute. You're like, So I lost you for a minute. I was like looking at the screen, trying to wait for you to be ready. But no, that's a great example. You're 20 years old. Take all that energy and start a business. Work for yourself. But that's that. But I also understand it's really hard for people because I'm lucky enough for my mom. My mom's very understanding and very like, okay, you want to try that? I'll support you, no problem. That's what she does. I love
Dude, that's so rare.
It's so rare.
I'll leave names out, but it's funny that the people you think would support you the most are the people that are like your biggest roadblocks.
Yeah.
Maybe is better, or like, why are you doing that? Or, that's stupid. You shouldn't do that. And, it's not, we live in once you start doing something different than what other people think about, you're like immediately the outcast.
You remember when you were a kid? I know I had this where I remember the first Thanksgiving where I had an opinion. Yeah, that went over. So that was a kid that never had an opinion. I was told what to do and did all the chores everybody told me to do. And then for the first time around my entire family, I hadn't dared to have an opinion.
And then like all the table, turns and.
Let me tell you something, young man.
Right. We don't allow opinions in this house.
No, you're to be seen and not heard. Okay.
Right. Right. You know what else I found too, and that's why I want KingGold to be different. I don't know if you experienced this, but there was a lot of people, like business people I know, that I thought would be like ready, willing, and able to help somebody to get off the ground. And it's not to say that they're like obligated to do that necessarily, but I didn't get as much support from like the fellow business community, so to speak. It's like, it was kind of like, oh, great, you want to start a business? Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
It wasn't I kind of have an idealistic mind, John, so I kind of blame myself a little bit for this, but I kind of felt like, the business world would welcome me with open arms, like, oh, welcome, brother. We're gonna help you, and we're gonna help you succeed. And it's like, no, it wasn't like that at all. It was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, hope you don't die. And then I was by myself again. It's kind of what it was like.
Then they don't care if you do die. They don't.
Yeah.
They'll show up at your funeral counting the money you left them. And
yeah, basically.
His wallet. Hold on.
Yeah, but to me, that's the big thing. There's people. I want to help the 20-year-old that has the energy to start a business. He just doesn't have the knowledge. But it's like, okay, I'm gonna tell you to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. You go do that in 2 years, you're golden for the rest of your life. That's the kind of stuff I want to do. The people that have no knowledge, no experience, because I feel like I've learned a lot in a short amount of time.
You did,
and I feel like I can really help people like me that didn't have much experience in business at all, really.
Yeah, and I want to actually clear that up. There's nothing wrong with not having that knowledge at first, because that happens.
Right.
A lot of people think when I'll tell people like, oh, we need to do this, and I say, don't listen to your parents. Like, they're like, well, what do you mean don't listen to my parents? I'm like, oh, what is wrong with you? I'm gonna get my butt whooped,
You caught yourself there.
Yeah, I did. I caught myself. That was my Jersey kicking in, but then
right.
On a podcast part right back here kicked in. But anyway, no. So, but they say it to people, and they go, oh, well, what do you mean by that? Well, do your parents have money? I ask them that, and they kind of like stop. Always do the same thing. They're like, do they? No, I guess they don't. I go, why would you ask them how to make money? Seems kind of obvious to me.
Yeah, you idiot. That was the New Jersey coming out for sure right there.
You're learning quick. One of us.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like, it's you have to fight everything you've been taught your whole life. If you're really starting from that bottom, I was lucky enough. Yeah, see, I was lucky enough to have the experience. I had, like I said, I had that weird upbringing. So I had that hardworking farm life mixed with like this business cutthroat experience on the other hand. So it was like a really weird mixture. And it was an interesting dichotomy, but I had to fight, the rough friends that I had and the people that I, worked with. I worked on the farms with, with the people that would work and pick the crops. I did cash registers growing up. I did all that stuff. But at the same time, I also had that experience where it taught me, these people aren't going to care about you. And it's an unfortunate truth that the majority of people are not going to care about you. And you have to watch out for yourself. And only you can choose to care about others. If it's up to you to do that. There's a reason why. And I don't want to get into religion and politics, but if you listen, if you believe
next broadcast, John. Next broadcast.
Yeah, next broadcast.
Religion and politics. That's it.
We're gonna cut that off right there. But be that one person that's a good person. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I kind of think, without getting to peace, love, and happiness, I kind of think that's the next big thing. If there's a community of real people who, for lack of better words, don't care who gets the credit. It's just a group of people that, we want to start something for ourselves. And we want to, build our own kingdoms. And, I want to help you build your kingdom. And then the people behind us, we're going to help them build their kingdoms. And, before you know it, everybody has a kingdom. They all have their own, their own sphere of control, their own sphere of influence where, they can, it's up to them. But at the same time, there's neighboring kingdoms that you barter and trade and help out with. Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of my vision for it, is that it's a bunch of average people becoming non-average and helping other average people do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I think you're doing an amazing job with this. I think this is a very realistic podcast.
Well, thank you. So. It's about as real as it gets. I got the $30 webcam and my kitchen is right here, so it's about as real as it gets.
Yeah, you can go get a sandwich if you wanted to. It's right there.
I could. You're right. You're right.
Hold on, everybody. I'll be right back.
Right. You see me in the back, slathering the mayonnaise and pulling my Red Baron pizza out of the oven.
Tell everybody about success.
That was a good one. That was a good one. All right. So, okay. So
my blood pressure just went up a little. So I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, we're good. We're good. So, you have. I want your opinion because you are, I'll say, a little bit ahead of the game on what I would consider, the ground floor guys like me as far as business stuff. Who has been some of your inspirations, people that have helped you along the way, maybe some books that you read, some materials, things like that you think would be applicable to, average Joe, like Scott type people?
Yeah. So the first thing that I noticed, and again, it was because of my upbringing, I had to understand what successful people did. And then you have to also understand, before you do the research about what those people did, understand what success is to you. Now, again, that sounds corny. It sounds like Confucius say, but you have to really understand, what exactly is your goal? And again, like with me, when I first started doing the eBay business, that just grew into something else. That grew into something bigger. That grew into something bigger. And it just kept going. But and then ended up, believe it or not, if you research, like you actually go on and find, there's an old, I think it was National Geographic, or it was a History Channel. They did this series called The Men Who Built America. Yeah. That is an unbelievable, great example of going from nothing to something. And, if you look at the different personalities and what they had to do, and unfortunately in this life, there's a lot of understanding that it's really in your court to make something happen, and understand that there's going to be, to keep the good people in your life there, to keep people that are watching out for you there. And, you have to really look at those people. So look at people like John D. Rockefeller, look at the people that overall were good people, if you really look at their personalities and things that they believe, but had to live in that very cutthroat, dangerous, not exactly friendly style of life, if you really want that for yourself.
It is kind of interesting to me, so I agree 100% with what you said, with the caveat of you have to understand how that fits with the time that you're in.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm pretty sure I heard Mark Cuban say this, that at one point he went door to door selling trash bags.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, okay, yes, he is successful now, but do not go door to door selling trash bags because you'll probably be arrested or not put it in an insane asylum or something. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and there's things like that were, I don't want to say acceptable, but like the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and stuff like that, they did things that, like, for instance, you can't do it by law today. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to look at guys like that and find the common traits, like being a generally good person for is one of them, you know, not being afraid to take risks. That's another one, you know, those types of things. And then find somebody who I guess resonates with you. And so who specifically would that be for you?
You know, I think I related to Carnegie the most out of all those guys.
Really?
I actually live now, believe it or not. I didn't realize this until I had already found Carnegie. So I didn't get into Carnegie because of this, but I live literally right up the street. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. I live right up the street from an old Carnegie steel mill. It's still active today.
Really?
Yeah, it's an old Carnegie steel mill. It's not called Carnegie Steel Mill anymore, but it's its own business. But you know, the funny thing is, if you look at his life, he really defines direction and focus and grit. Grit is the most important thing. He went through a period of time where he was getting letters from debtors back then. I can't even imagine getting a telegram of somebody walking in the door like, "Hi, just letting you know you owe us 50,000."
Well, at least you have more time to pay it back, right?
Give him the checks in the mail to send that back to him. I'll see you in a week.
You know, it's right. It's funny you say Carnegie because I should say I listened to the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And Carnegie was brought up, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times in the book because it was talking about like how it wasn't just about business to him. It was about people. And he was, I don't want to say charismatic, but he had that trait to win friends and influence people because he understood people and he helped them. And I think there was something, I'm pretty sure it was Carnegie. Maybe it wasn't, but whoever it was, okay, disclaimer, whoever that was, he was able to like stop a strike at the mill because he, something like he didn't entirely know what was going on. So he went to the mill and like worked with the unions, or that might've been Rockefeller. I don't remember.
So that goes into a little bit of the darker side, unfortunately, in the reality of business. Basically what happened with that was his steel mill, people started striking. He actually was too good of a person. He hired Henry Frick, a guy named Henry Frick, to handle all the actual business stuff because he was too good of a person. He could not do what was required to grow the bit. He couldn't fire people and destroy families and all that stuff. And unfortunately, that at that level of business, they don't really exist anymore like that. Those guys are a whole different breed from back then. But back then, that's how business was. And that's why I say that it's so important to study those people, because that is literally the darkest days and gives you a very realistic image of how it was. But anyway, if you look at what happened, the people started striking. He actually went and took off to Ireland because he couldn't see what was going on. He actually went back to his home. I think it was Ireland. He went back to his home country, was playing golf at everything, didn't want to know what was going on, and had Henry Frick handle all the bad stuff.
Really?
They hired the Pinkerton guards to come in. Well, not him, Henry Frick. Hired the Pinkerton guards to come in, and they actually ended up firing upon some of the protesters because they were throwing.
Really?
Yeah, that's what happened. And that's how the thing was stopped. It wasn't him. He wasn't some magical, Napoleon Bonaparte showing up on the shores telling them to fire on the enemy. He took off. Like, he was too good of a person.
Well, maybe it was Rockefeller then. It was one of those big characters that like actually came to the mill that they were striking at or whatever. So I don't remember who it was, but it was just kind of cool. But Carnegie for sure, exactly what you're saying. He was like too nice of a guy for the business that he was running.
Yeah.
Which for those that are listening, Extreme Ownership is a good book to listen to and or read. I recommend listening to it because the authors actually, they're actually the ones reading it, and they're former SEALs that fought in Iraq. So that's, the stories they tell are pretty incredible. Like hey, there's an actual person that went through this. But he's talking about like, you have to put the mission It's like, yes, you have to care about your people. You have to, understand their wants, needs, and desires, things like that. You have to do that. At the same time, you cannot do that to the detriment of your company or your organization or, what have you. So good leadership is not just like making sure everybody holds hands and sings Kumbaya. It's also like, hey, Johnny, you got to go and we love you. If you ever straighten up, feel free to come talk to us again, but you got to go now, like, bye. And, those are some of the tough leadership decisions you have to make to, I mean, it's kind of like, if your hand was full of like gangrene or something, well, you can't just say, oh, it's my hand, I love it. You got to cut it off, right? Or else you're going to die.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same principle. You get some kind of, thing going on in your company. I'm actually going to write a book about this, basically about how to like cut your losses and, be it people, be it, something you've had for years, be it mama's, wedding dress that you've had forever, if I have no idea where that came from.
Mama's wedding dress.
I know, but it's like, but that's very true. To have a successful enterprise of any kind, you have to be willing to make tough decisions.
The way I see it, it's kind of, let me this way, I think a better way of explaining would be to really refer to the business as a child and the employees or contractors that you hire as your children. So basically, if I get a bad contractor, right, and he's not doing his job and something keeps going wrong, it doesn't just do a disservice to me. It does a disservice to the future renter in that property. It does a disservice to him because he's going to go to he's going to get another client and he's going to do the same thing to them. He's going to continue to make those mistakes. He's going to harm not just me and not just my business, but everybody that he ends up coming in contact with the same mistake. So it's so important to say, listen, this ain't working out. Let's move on. Right. And be honest with the person, because you're not being bluntly honest. And here comes the Kevin O'Leary, is not going to do anybody any good when it comes to that. And there's also, and the reason I say the business is like a child is because when you start one, you want to grow it. That's really, you feed your child, and that child grows.
Well, that's where the expression, this is your baby, comes from, right? I mean, it's literally a baby.
Yeah, exactly. It cries sometimes, but you got to figure out what it wants.
Right. Money. It wants money and people.
It always needs money. I don't know why.
I know. Right?
My business wanted to go on a date last week. I had to put an end to that.
No dating for you.
Yeah, you're not old enough yet. Sorry.
Right. All right, let's see what else we got here. So do you have any other see, you're not a guy for side gigs, so I hate to call it a side gigs, but do you have any other non-real estate related income streams that you're working on? Or
there's crypto. I'm getting into crypto. I got into crypto honestly very recently. But I have not been wrong yet. So that is a good sign. So it means everything.
All right. So what's your number? So I don't want to say I have been looking into crypto because that would be false, but a couple of people have posted about a particular one. So if you were to recommend one, what would you say?
If you can afford it, just get into Bitcoin.
Other than Bitcoin,
I would look at Ethereum.
Ethereum?
Ethereum, yeah. Okay. Ethereum it's probably the most second popular coin. It is pretty much follows Bitcoin's price. Well, not its price, its angle and trajectory. So if Bitcoin's up, it's going to go up, and it has pretty much the same the same direction, the same graph. It's kind of interesting.
Right. So crypto investing is kind of your side gig, if you will.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Yes. So another thing I've been looking into getting into recently, it was actually yacht charting. Believe it or not.
It was what now?
Yacht charting. So, and that's something very recent. That's something I've been thinking about getting into, is yacht charting.
Yacht chartering.
Yeah. So not me chartering a yacht, somebody else chartering it from me.
So you're going to buy a yacht.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that. So yacht chartering. So you can.
Yeah, you're definitely you're definitely a little bit different breed, I would say. Not too many yachts in Louisiana down here. But that's interesting. So they'll just pay you whatever to rent a yacht for a couple of days? Like how?
The size of the boat, like you can get most yachts. If you go over 100 feet, you're talking a couple $100,000 just for the day. Yeah, just for the day. But your cost of ownership for that month is about what that one day costs. So
interesting. That's I didn't see that coming, John. I really didn't.
It's a new thought.
Okay, well, I'm very curious to see how that pans out. So, but I like it because it's definitely not something I would have thought of. Like down here, okay, it would be like a fishing charter. Some people would buy a boat to go fishing, things like that. But yeah, yachts are a little.
They're at the very pinnacle. Once you get going for a while, you'll get there.
I see that. Yeah. So will we see you on Shark Tank one day, or will you?
I don't know if they want me on Shark Tank, man. They don't have enough pizza in there. They got that. They got the Red Baron. I can't bring myself to get on there. But
dude, whatever. Funny? Okay, here's your homework. All right. You're going to go to whatever store New Jersey has, and you're going to go find a red brick oven now. Okay, it's got to be brick oven crust. And you're going to put that bad boy in there at 400 degrees for about 16 minutes. Okay, I find 16 minutes is like right where it gets crispy, but not like.
I don't condone any of this, but keep going.
And I want you to sit there, and I want you to, sit there with your mom and, your brother and his fiance. Okay, I want y'all to just sit there and eat a couple pieces. And just let me know what you think. All right. You're not gonna do it, are you?
I'll do it. I will do it. I will go to the store and I will buy some Red Barons and I will do that.
But remember, brick oven, okay? Because they're very confused. It's very confusing because the boxes are similar. All right.
You know what a lot of people have up here? A lot of people up here will actually build their own brick ovens in their backyards.
Yeah. We got a couple of those. Yeah. Now we got a couple of those down here too. Not a whole lot of yachts though. Well, at least in Louisiana, I think like Gulf Shores, Mobile, Destin.
I was going to say there's be some.
Yeah, I think they have more yachts. We're more like fishing over here, I guess.
Hey, you can fish off your yacht. You have to have you actually have to leave in some places. I think in Florida, don't quote me on this, but I think in Florida you actually have to legally, depending on the size of your boat, you have to have a dinghy. But
really?
I think so. I think you actually have to have a way to get off the big boat and into a smaller boat if something goes wrong with the big boat in Florida. And I may be wrong about that.
So are you going to be like what's the right word? A national yacht charter? Are you just going to do it in New Jersey or what?
No, again, if I do anything I do, I start real simple. And I'll buy, whatever size boat that I feel is necessary. And then we'll go from there, But it gets expensive quick. Like, you could buy,
yeah.
You can buy.
I mean, yacht expensive. I would say pretty good. It goes hand in hand.
Fuel just for the yacht is going to be about $220,000 just for the fuel, because you have to be able to have enough fuel if you get lost out at sea.
So, just as a disclaimer, okay, I also do not condone any of this because this is for the starters. Okay, but this is what you can attain to. Okay, maybe one day you can grow your home-based business up to where you're buying freaking yachts and, doing crazy stuff so you can eat your Red Baron pizzas at sea.
Am I right? Hey, man, you gotta give the charter people some food, man. You gotta give them Red Barons.
That's right. And dude, I'm telling you, Red Baron brick oven. I don't know what they're doing to it, but man, it's good stuff.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Probably lost like 17 viewers right now just from that.
We're not getting paid from Red Baron. Nobody here is getting paid.
Yet.
Yes, it's coming.
Red Baron, contact me.
I'm wearing a champion shirt. Where's my check? Come on.
Right. Dude, how funny would it be if like the next video I do, I have like a Red Baron shirt on?
No, you got to have the hat and a scarf.
And there's like a Red Baron backdrop. Bro, they got in touch with me. I'm made.
He's got like a stack of hundreds just right next to you.
And I'm like eating it during the show, I tell you what, that actually maybe that's an income stream I haven't thought about with like sponsorships. Maybe I can get a couple of those going.
I don't know them because I'm not into the whole streaming thing, but there's actually like a site people I know can go to that have like where they actually companies go to hire streamers.
Really?
Yeah, and you post your thing on there. You say how many viewers a month that you get, and See, now Scott's shaking. Now Scott's thinking, man. He's like, I'm about to blow this thing up, man.
Know, maybe I'll have 4 income streams next year.
Hey, there you go.
Yep. All right, John. Well, we've been going a little. Oh wow, this might be the longest one yet. A little over an hour and 15 minutes. So, probably the last question. If you were to go tell young John, give him a piece of advice, not necessarily like, don't go out with Susie type thing, but if you were to give him a piece of advice from a business aspect, what would you give that? What would you tell young John?
I probably would have told him to hold on to all the money that he made and all the allowances that he got when he was a kid. So, and I would have started earlier.
Says the guy who's buying yachts and stuff. But anyway, continue.
Hey, I was going to garage sales buying things for $1, man. This didn't come up overnight. I ate Ty Lopez. I mean Ty. That there's a guy named Ty. I know. Don't sue him. You know what I mean? There's a guy named Ty. But anyway, but the whole thing is, go and really focus on learning from people that have tried and true methods. Learn from people that have done it, and really understand what you're getting into, because it ain't all pretty, and you're not always gonna have a lot of friends. That's another thing. Always remember that. You're gonna have to be very mentally strong.
Yeah, there's an expression I've seen quite a bit now. It's that it's lonely at the top. Yeah. And the thing for me is like, it's lonely on the way to the top. Like, you don't even have to get very far off the base of the mountain. It's just like, once you start climbing the mountain, you look to your left and you look to the right, and there's very few people, if any, that are around you, either going in the same direction or they're near you, or you can talk to them. And like I said, that's why I'm doing this, man. And there's, whoever is hanging out with KingGold and me and our community and what we're building, we're going to be there for the people that don't have anybody that, in their corner. So we're going to be that person.
It really is an important thing for people to understand, because there's going to be kids out there's people that go through life and you can just tell they don't look happy at all.
Oh yeah.
Even people that have money, there's doctors are like, oh, I'm just I don't want to go, and I know that person's dying, but don't call me at 4 a.m. to go back to the surgery table.
Well, doctors, man. I mean, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the medical community, but like one of my other cousins, he's a surgeon, and that dude has worked like a dog, 20 hours, just because they were shorthanded. And, it's really hard to tell somebody that is dying, oh, I'm just too tired to work on you right now. You can't do that. So, I have my cousin's kind of a low-key guy. I don't know if he'd do one of these, but I'd love to have him on to talk about like what it takes to be a doctor. Because when he was in med school, I mean, he was seriously doing like 20-hour days for, months. And, but doctors work, man. Doctors, especially like the maybe the higher level ones like that, like surgeons, neurosurgeons, people like that. Yeah, they are. Anybody.
There's only so many of them, and look, I'm pretty sure if you have to have the pulse, there's probably only one brain surgeon at that time of night that can come in. And they work a lot, so they get paid for their money.
Right.
Big time. They earn that.
Yep. That's why, but not everybody's going to be a doctor, right? So that's why we got to get these income streams going.
Well, I'm just trying to because if you're really considering starting a business, there's a chance you thought about becoming a doctor too. You're thinking about your options. Not Scott. Scott's like,
not for me.
I don't want to cut nobody open. I'm good with that.
It's one of those things where like, it's good to know your limits, but that was just always I knew, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm just trying to get out with the whole doctor thing, is understand there are other obvious success paths you could take.
Right.
But if business ownership and that freedom is what you want, it's all about what's going to make you happy in your life.
Right. Well said. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, John, we'll go ahead and call it a night. Really appreciate you, dude. Let's definitely get you back on here for our crypto discussion. That's something I am totally ignorant about. Definitely want to learn more about because it intrigues me. But it's one of those, I'm a very tangible person. Like, so gold, silver, real estate, bam, that's to me bread and butter. But crypto is kind of like a coin you can't touch, and that's so my mind can't. I just can't. But maybe one day. So I'm not saying I can't.
The truth is nobody can. That's a simple answer.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll definitely have you back on again, man. And appreciate your time. Good chat. And we'll definitely do it again, bro.
You got it, man. Good seeing you. And thanks everybody for having me. Right?
John, you're an inspiration to me. I know, especially now, but I knew before that starting a company, a business, whatever, and growing it is not easy. So, man, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great, and we'll talk later, bro.
You got it, man. Thanks you very much. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good luck.
Bye, y'all.